There we go.
Here we are. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Ange and Nancy. Thank you for being the first comers, for
Hello,
coming
hello.
in. I have Gerald to my left or right, depending on what side you're looking at. Tarotstache.
Yay.
Um, so we've been talking a little bit off camera about what's been going on with us because it's been a few weeks since we've actually spoken.
Yeah.
And I'm I'm looking forward to this because I've been sick, but I'm feeling better, and I want to do something very lighthearted. And this was already
hmm
planned before I got sick, so this is perfect. So the
Yes.
title of this, as you see, is No Doom or Gloom. That's found in the tarot, and this goes specifically into readings because we get these cards that show up sometimes and it's just like, oh, again, oh, this card is following me. Oh, this
hmm
card's this or that. I like what Gerald was saying off camera to me, was just like, what can we do to change that? Okay, there's some of us in the tarot community who have been reading for quite some time, so we understand that we can change change that message around so that it's something to learn from.
hmm
Everything in the card, whether it's the happiest card, the sun card, even in reversed, there's negatives and positives. There's light and dark in all of this.
Right.
So that's what we want to discuss, and we'll keep it lighthearted. We won't go too much into the heavier side, but we will share some examples
hmm
of different ways to approach a lighter way of reading the tarot.
And I think it takes practice to be able to see both aspects of a card, the light and the dark. The Ten of Swords,
Mm.
that to be honest with you is one of those cards that I'm always looking for in a deck before I choose it,
Oh,
because I am curious about the depiction. And can I see the positive side of that or not? So it can be a struggle.
I
So
actually like the Ten of Swords because it is that culmination of something finally coming to an end,
hmm
and getting to that point that now we can move on to the next phase. But that's entirely up to the person. Okay,
yeah.
we have to remember when we do readings, when I do readings in person, I tell people you take this with a grain of salt. But if you feel there's a message or a connection in these cards, you know, honor it, look at it, feel
hmm
it. And I always have people when I read in person take a photo of the reading, if it's
Yeah.
3 cards or whatever, so that they can reflect on it, you know.
Right. And um, it's I think depending upon where these cards fall in to the spread,
Mhm.
um, and it's really important for me. It's like when I'm reading for somebody, and I believe you do this too, Amy, is I want to hold space for them while they experience the information that they're being given so that they can soak it in. I like how you're saying take a picture of it, take notes, try to connect, and what are you feeling? And
Mhm.
so sometimes seeing that 10 can just be, it's shocking, and
Yeah,
that's the shock that's needed.
yeah,
um, may I show a sample of in the Robin Wood?
of course. Oh,
And
yeah. Ugh.
and the one thing, it's so, I mean, it's so shocking, but it was my brother-in-law who, when I was doing a reading for him and this came up, he was the one who said, and he doesn't read tarot. He was like going, "Well, look, the dawn is coming, light is coming through," and I went, "Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that."
Wow, look at that. He saw
So
beyond it.
yeah, I mean, it completely right. It was one of those things that I was like, "Wow, okay,
That
okay,
is unbelievable.
yeah, truly,
Yeah,
truly
and that's
amazing."
the thing, look at the environment of the card, and
hmm
that's a good example of it. I'm trying to find in my Guild Tarot, um, let's find here the 10. You had 10 of Swords, right?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't too bad. The 10 of Swords for the Guild Tarot is this.
Mm-hmm.
But look, there is the Dawn on the other side as well.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it's like the wheel is placed right in the center of where things are going on. And I believe Elizabeth mentions like this is a city where there's not a lot of lights, maybe an outage of some sort happened. But we're seeing this progression of energy from here up front, like all this movement, fiery energy, and
Right.
then the stillness of what's going on. Oops. But then what's up ahead. So that's very interesting with this card, that it shows the same thing.
And what deck is that? I like that.
The Guild Tarot,
The Gi-
Gill.
Okay.
I'll show you.
Okay. The Guild Tarot.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
It's the deck that I want to be working with for doing my path work for the
Mm-hmm.
Kabbalah. So this deck is going to be exclusively for my Kabbalah studies.
Oh, nice.
It works very, very well. Hello,
Mhm.
Jonathan. How are you?
Hi, Jonathan.
Welcome.
Yeah. And it is one of those things that it for me it is a choice to be, am I going to be doom or am I going to be gloom today, or am I going to be both and accept that?
Mhm.
Okay, this is it. I
Mhm.
can, how I choose to respond. It's the law of attraction.
Yeah.
And that being said, there
Tell
are
me.
some. I remember actually at one point I was struggling with a lot of difficulty in my home life and my work life, and a friend of mine is like going, "Okay, you've got a lot going on." I'm like, "Yeah, I do," and I'm like, and she said to me, "Are you going to stay in that mood, or are you
Yeah.
going to change it?" And I looked at her and I said with my full heart, "I'm going to stay in it for a while."
Really?
Yep. And she went, "Okay."
Okay.
And then it's a good I mean, a good friend. She said, "And how long are you going to do this? Because I will put you in check if you're going beyond that."
Mm.
And at that point, we just had a good laugh, and
Yeah.
it sort of it lightened my load.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think again, your limits, how far you can stay in a situation, how
mhm,
far things are coming towards you. And again, push comes to shove. And so also when you're going through a lot of hard um, challenges, detours, so on and so forth in your life, you go to the tarot. Some people go to the tarot and they're like, I need some light. I need some light. And the cards just are not coming out in that direction. Yeah,
yeah,
because it's a reflection. Remember, everyone, the tarot is a reflection of what we're feeling at that moment. So it's no wonder when you do readings for yourself, and I do, some people don't, but I'm fully comfortable doing readings of myself because I can separate. I can separate,
yeah,
the conscious part, the ego part, from what the message is being told. And I'm just like, okay, all right, all right, all right, all right. I get it. Okay, I'm still
mhm,
in this phase. When it's time to start shining, when it's time to, to start moving forward, you'll start feeling some shifts going on.
yeah,
And then when you start doing the readings for yourself, the cards start reflecting it. It may
right,
not be like a whole
mhm,
tableau of, goodness, but it starts showing that you're in that right direction.
right,
Continue moving and growing and make those changes.
yeah, yeah, very much so. And yeah, my high priestess actually, she said at one point, okay, you bought a new house and you're looking outside of the back window, and you go, gee, it'd be really nice to put in a Zen garden back there. And she goes, and she says, in order to do that, you have to destroy everything that's there in order to put something different in there.
Yes.
And it's one of those things that I'm looking, oh, okay. It's like I have to till the soil so that my seeds can take root.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I sometimes need to remember. How's that? I sometimes need to remember that.
Well, especially when you're going into a new environment. Like when I moved into this house, I purged any energy that was in here, anything, because nothing felt bad. There was no doom or gloom, but there something wasn't right in this house. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
pinpoint it. And I just cleansed, and it took some time. But now I feel like I got to a point where I have protection,
Yeah.
and whatnot. So yeah, whenever you're going into a new situation, working with a deck, people cleanse their decks in various ways.
Yeah.
You're putting that energy into it so it works in your favor. This becomes your baby. Your
Uh-huh.
house becomes your baby. All these things that you
Yeah.
get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I remember at work, I would go in to new environments where they didn't sort of they put me in when there was a need for coverage because I had a variety of skills, and I tend to be people liked it when I showed up, and I little did people know that I was coming in also with crystal grids. I was I was doing other things to help adjust my energy and the energy of the environment, and
Yes.
people noticed. Not many people could articulate what was going on.
Mm.
Um,
Doesn't
but
matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter. But there were a couple of people who were like going, "So, what are you doing in here?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" And of course, my reaction um, bringing me into the environment,
Hmm.
and they're like going, "Okay, keep doing that. It's very helpful." It's like, okay,
It's working.
it's working.
It's
That's
becoming
exactly
a
right.
benefit.
Yeah.
Um, Let me turn the tables a little bit. For those who are taking part in the chat, um, how do you feel about the tarot when it comes to negatory meanings? How do you approach this in your readings? I know many of you here already have a strong practice, but it'd be nice to get some feedback as
Yeah.
well, so we can intertwine this conversation that we're having. Are there some cards that you feel very strongly about, even though they have a negative meaning, but do you feel like it's still a card that you can embrace because you're learning something from it?
Hmm.
Let us know.
Yeah. I'd love to hear. I'd love to see that. So, but
So do you feel the Ten of Swords is that one card that does it for you?
the Ten of Swords is one of the tough ones. It's interesting. It's the swords are oftentimes the ones that are a struggle,
Okay.
because the Nine of Swords
Yes.
is a bit of a struggle, as well as the Eight. Um,
7.
yeah, the Seven. Yeah, here, let me pull all of them out. Um, but also, but the five,
Mm,
the fives are a struggle too.
okay.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan.
Just thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah. Well, by the way, it's nice to have that happen because sometimes I forget that it does. So, but I think the fives are the ones where a lot of struggles are,
Yeah,
and
because the basis of that number, it's a crossroads, it's a challenge,
yeah,
um, for many. I'm
yeah,
looking here. Well, let me show in contrast. This is from the Oak, Ash, and Thorn. It's wonderful how decks can just show a different depiction and still not have it be so graphically like in your face.
mm-hmm,
This is Five of Swords. I see the
mm,
swords. I'm like, God, that's beautiful.
yeah,
I mean, aesthetically. And look at the Six of Swords. But look
yeah,
at the light coming through.
mm-hmm,
And and then we have this outer entity of the bird, like the ascension, moving
mm-hmm,
away from that situation. Seven of Swords is the Seven of Swords.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. What's interesting is I don't have the oak, ash, and thorn. So
okay, but just to compare imagery wise.
no, but you're absolutely right. My favorite bad card is the Tower.
Your
Yep.
favorite, see?
Well, and with the Tower, it really gets you to your core, and then that way you have the opportunity to build something new. So you're right. It's even more it's it's even more of an opportunity for that. Hi, Beth. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Kristen. I'm bad. I don't do all the introductions at the beginning because once I start the conversation, I focus on it. Also, let me ask Jonathan, how do you associate with the Marsian energy of the Tower? Is it sometimes too aggressive for you? Because I did get the Tower recently, and it's just, I tell me something I already know. It's like, okay.
I'm just looking in one of my other cards.
I always think of the more negative cards as just representing something that is an inevitable part of the human experience and work with it from that perspective. Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. The smoke, ash, and embers, Jonathan. I think I may have placed a comment. I like the oak, ash, and thorn just a little bit more because it deals with all the different animals. And while smoke, ash, and embers, I think it's all dragons. I need to look at the deck a little further, but the OAT is definitely my favorite. It takes more of a gentle approach, I feel, with some of the cards.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to get it, Gerald.
No, thank you.
No pressure.
Because the what was the other deck? The Shimmering Veil.
Yes.
Silicon Way has shown up in 3 different chats and lives, and not all of them I was in. I was only in one, and it was only on one of mine, and it's like I looked at it and I'm like, nope, it's just not connecting.
Yeah.
I mean, beautiful, but
yeah,
there's
something about, and this is just our opinions. Okay, it's not discrediting the creator or anything like this. The deck's extremely abstract, and nothing wrong with that. I have some, like the pips for me, or not pips, I'm sorry, Marseille decks. I think that's as abstract as I want to go, because there's a lot to read with the different suits and the pips and the placement of all of the pips in each of the suits. I know the Mary L. Tarot has similar imagery, but it's a little bit more aggressive. It's a very strong masculine, I feel, deck. And it caught my interest for a little bit, and then it didn't do it. So, but yeah, what everyone,
Yeah. Well, and I think
Beth has something for you.
Know thyself. Yes. Know thyself. Yes. Yeah. Oh, wait. Here, if know thyself, Gerald. I think we're very fortunate. I feel very fortunate to live in a time when there's such a variety of tarot decks.
Yeah.
It's truly, truly amazing. And yeah, I'm picking decks, picking a deck that I want to read when I want to do for the reading, based on how I'm feeling and the energy from the decks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you do that, but when I've gone to read for people, I'll take like a whole bag of decks.
Oh, really?
Because I'm asking, okay, which deck wants to come with me? And invariably, I'm using all of those decks because certain people needed that deck.
Understandable.
and
Yeah.
and and so that's just great, because sometimes the person who is struggling the most needs the clear message.
Mm-hmm.
They need the one that is in their face. And I have been told that I can help deliver that message in a way people can hear it.
Oh, excellent.
So it's very nice to hear that, and I'm starting to believe that
Okay.
I can do that. So
Know thyself, but also trust thyself.
there you go.
We're sending messages out to you.
There you go.
I've been seeing the tarot more often myself lately, and while I still have that gasp moment when it first comes out, but then I see it as a nudge. Yeah. See? Nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear at all.
Yeah.
I'm late to the chat, but did we address how you both are dressed like
Well, I will just say, Beth, I was explaining to Amy, it's about 19 degrees here where I live, and I live in a big old Queen Anne that's drafty, and so I was like, I need to dress warmly, so, and I thought, I was like, yeah, it's just like, okay. So, but
my excuse is that I'm dealing with a minor cold, and so I'm trying to keep my body temperature warm. And this is my favorite jacket because it's a quilted jacket, so
love it.
Yeah, it holds heat pretty nicely. And
Yeah.
if you see my nose getting red from time to time, I'm sneaking some ginger while I'm having this discussion, and so you know what ginger does.
Mm-hmm.
It heats up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things that I've just trusted my intuition, and I just show up with it, because if I don't, I can still do the readings, but I am the kind of person who, when I'm sitting down, I want to get a feel for the individual and really get an understanding of their question.
Yeah.
And what they might already know is an answer to their question. And it's just fun to go. And usually while they're doing that, I'm putting different decks on the table. And
while they're talking to you.
While they're talking to me, and I'm saying, I'm getting my decks out to see which deck I'm going to read with.
Yeah.
And I would say about 50% of the time, I can tell immediately when I put it on the table that that's the one the person wants me to use.
Okay.
Either because they go, "Ooh, that's pretty. May I see that?" And I'm like, "Well, yes." And then I put everything off. It's like, let's do this. So
I bring probably no more than 3 to 4 decks when reading at the shop or at an event. And I let people choose, and sometimes they kind of have a quizzical look on their face. And I'm like, there's no right or wrong answer, just whichever one you resonate with. One deck one deck may tell you something different. I don't say that to them to further confuse them, but you choose what deck feels good. And a lot of them say, oh, I like the back because I only show the back of the decks. It just feels good for them for whatever reason.
Go with the feels.
Exactly.
Go with the feels.
How's your horse? Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know either. We're going to do, we'll pull a few cards at the end, but we're not going to be doing any like live readings. because the focus here, we want to keep the topic lighthearted towards, positive energy that comes from the tarot and working with that. So I'm sorry, I can't even pronounce the first name because of my cold. It is Stacy, tarot reader. Got it.
Okay.
Okay. So, but feel free to hang out, okay, Stacy? But we won't be doing any like live readings. Okay. Of course. Yeah. And the intuition is always growing. And there's exercises I feel that you can do with the tarot. You could do very simple exercises of literally, like everyone does with the tarot, pulling a card of the day, how you feel about it. And then as you build up more on that practice, there's different forms of exercises that you could do to trust and build that instinctual side of who you are, so that when it comes time to doing readings, like larger readings, it almost becomes natural. I feel there are some people, though, Gerald, that they do have to learn. It's not, there are, I'm avoiding some words. I feel there are some people who are naturals. They have a gift. Okay, I'm not saying I do or you do or anyone, but there are some people who naturally, they read the cards and it just flows like butter. But for some people, they struggle. They're like, I don't understand why the magician in one deck reads, the imagery is a little different. How can it have the same, meaning? They're putting too much thought into it.
Right.
And they're not letting go of the process of naturally going with the flow.
Yeah. And they're like muscles, right? The intuition.
Yes.
And some people, they're really good runners. They just naturally know how to take strides, whatever. I'm not a runner, so I'm making that up. But they still have to practice. They still need to exercise. They still need to show up.
Yeah.
It's like writers. Their big thing to do is to show up at the page and to keep showing up. So and I think I got last year, I did the hashtag gratitude challenge 2021, and I did it for a good 5 or 6 months.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and
Oh,
so
wow.
on the other channel, the Hermit Mage, I after about the first month, I did a weekly update. Here's what I got for this day. Here's what I got for this day, and it was very interesting to have cards show up that might be challenging, and have them show up in a way. Okay, what am I grateful for associated with the Eight of Swords, the Tower, the Five of Pentacles, the death.
The
Those are
Nine of
things.
Wands. The Nine of
Did I
Wands.
say Nine of Wands?
No. It came
Okay.
to me. The Nine of Wands is also a card because the Wands is of movement and of a forward moving energy force. But that Nine of Wands always shows a form of defeat, a form of that's probably one card that I don't like, considering the suit that it's associated with, because it's showing all of this movement happening. There are some struggles, but that Nine of Wands in particular just shows, like, after all that work, you've depleted your energy. You're putting so much work into what you're doing. You're actually,
Yeah.
It's an unusual card for me, just actually looking at that card. The wands are upright, in that card.
It's yeah.
We sometimes see the Nine of Wands where people, like in the the Wildwood Tarot, the person's actually carrying. I think with the Nine of Wands, we sometimes see them carrying that load, carrying that force, and it's a bit much.
And I think also with that, nines are the completion of the cycle, but the
Yeah.
10 is sort of you're waiting for the next round of that
Correct.
to show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So, and this is like I'm taking a breath before I have to start again.
Mm.
It's like,
I
learn
I
to
think it's just
fail well.
because of the decks that I have and the way the Nine of Wands is
Hmm.
interpreted, it just reads very heavy. And yes, like Kristen, what you're saying, learn to fail well. Fail
Yeah.
well. There we go.
Yep. Is that like failing forward or something like that too? It's that same idea.
I
Yeah, that's
think so.
interesting.
Well, also too, I think you've gotten to that point, and this is where you are in that part of your journey and that part of that process. But
Hmm.
the Nine of Wands is, I shouldn't even talk more about it. It's a weird card for me if it shows up. Beth states, still moving forward, just taking, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that perspective. But also, I think it also comes into play with all the other cards that lie around it. So if the other cards are emphasizing a little bit of heavy energy, then it changes the meaning.
Absolutely. And isn't that's absolutely, I think context is important where the cards fall,
Yes.
because you could have a supposed really good positive card um, in a position that you don't want that positive, that positive card is actually has a negative influence or
Yeah.
a struggle influence.
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid the words positive and negative. It's just, it's a struggle. It's easy. It's a
Yeah.
lighter thing. So lots of stuff. I was looking for here's the Nine of Wands in the Light Seers.
Oh, that's a nice version.
Uh-huh.
It
And
shows hope for me.
yes,
I like
it
that.
also shows, to me, when I see this just came up in a reading earlier this week where it was
I
perfect
like that.
because while the person needed to stop, it was because they needed the flame at the top of the wand to get brighter before they moved on.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, so that idea of rest. It's like I need the rest to be able to put fuel, I need to fan the flames a little bit so that I have enough of that going forward.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Of course, Ange. All where they fall. Even with a short reading as 3 cards, it can make a quick difference
yeah,
easily.
yeah.
Alrighty. So I'm putting a lot of pressure, I feel, on Gerald because of me not feeling good. So I'm trying
Oh no,
to
you're fine.
to balance the amount of talk time that we have. So
Uh, Well, one of the things that I keep in mind, and slow me up, is sometimes no doom and gloom. I want a no doom and gloom deck, something that is a bit more humorous, something that's a lighter. The Light Seers, Chris Ann has done a great job with this, and in fact, you don't have this deck, right?
I don't. I don't.
And what's amazing with it is need to recoup the inspiration and passion. What's amazing with this is that she gives a definition for light seer and shadow seer.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, that's helpful. And then she ends each card with with an affirmation, even with the struggle cards. Um,
I
so
mean, the cards that I've seen from that deck, I don't feel any negative energy because it's so bright. It has so much of her energy. Those of you who know Chris Ann, Pixie Curio on Instagram, she's as light energy-wise as her deck. She's as
mhm,
bright as she is
yeah,
in expressing herself with her deck. And
yeah.
so it's
She has
an
done the same
amazing,
with the Muse,
yeah.
and the Terror of the Curious Creatures. This is one where I
Oh,
look
the
at it
new
and it
one.
just makes me giggle. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, that is just funny. So it's like,
Oh, I'm sorry, Kristen. I didn't know.
aw.
Okay. We'll get through everything, whether it's a
Yeah.
cold, COVID, so on and so forth. Oh, wow.
You know, it's just like, how funny is that? I mean, and some people, trigger warning, some people do not like that type of decks, but it's, oh, sorry.
No,
I'll
no, no, no,
stop.
no. No, no, no. Stop that. Stop that.
Okay.
Gerald, continue showing because I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain. Go ahead.
So it's just some of them, or it's just like, okay, the approach is one that is like, okay, that's just sort of funny. You know, I mean, I've got to
That's
chuckle
cute.
at that.
Yeah.
So
A few
yeah.
years ago, no, probably almost 10 years ago, not a few years ago, I went to an event. It was a Halloween event outdoors. And I was photographing the people, the outfits, and excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this individual all dressed all in white, like a white tuxedo type outfit,
Uh-huh.
drinking beer. I don't know how this person was able to do it, either beer or from a glass, wearing a horse head. And when I saw, it's Halloween, so
Okay.
so it sort of jarred my mind because here we have an animal head on a human figure. So when you were showing me that deck, and I had seen the deck before because
Uh-huh.
Pixie was showing it on Instagram, I was just like, no, 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 no. So
Not
there's
for you, yeah.
something, yeah, there's something interesting. And I'm always talking about primal energy and working with animal energies. But for some reason, when I see physically those two forms put together, animal, physical animal,
Uh-huh.
associate with the human, a human body,
Yeah.
it's kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
it's twisted in an interesting way because there's obviously some psychology going on in that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you could give any detail as to, can you give a diagnosis as to why that is with me?
You know, to be honest with you, it just could be aesthetics. You
Mm.
don't like it.
Hmm.
It could also be maybe you were stuck in a Greek maze with the Minotaur or something like that. I don't know.
Okay. It's like, I love animals. There's no reason to be, to be scared of this. But when I saw the animal, it's like Anubis, right? I think Anubis has
Yeah.
the eagle or the bird, the falcon, I think it is, and then the rest is human.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just weird. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not the only one. There we go.
Yep. That's the word. Anthropomorphism. Yeah.
But you know what, Ange? Like I was just saying, the more we question something like that, the more it becomes interesting. There's some psychology, honestly, I feel behind it. So, I'll face it. If I go to a party and I see a rooster head on top of a human, I'm just going to go, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's Halloween, Amy. It's not literally this person is a rooster.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I love that.
Oh my
I love
God.
that.
That's
Well,
the
and
word.
yeah. I think you know, when there's also decks out there that are associated with, you know, there's the Golden Girls Tarot, the Friends Tarot, the RuPaul's Drag Race. There's the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
And I think if we've enjoyed those shows or those movies and they've brought us joy, then using a deck associated with them
Mm-hmm.
brings us some level of joy. It just sort of ups that energy in that direction because
Yes,
of the way we feel about it. So,
exactly. It's the memories that we hold.
Thank you.
from.
That's the word I couldn't remember.
That's
Memories.
okay.
My memory was shot.
Do you have a thing about clowns? Now, clowns I'm not scared of, because I remember Bozo the clown, and Bozo did not scare me. But there are people, and Beth had a effing panic attack. To each his own, I guess.
Yeah, they're they're okay. I have friends
Okay.
who actually can't stand clowns.
Okay.
And they had a similar experience. They had a bad experience as a kid with the clown
Oh,
scaring them. So it
yeah.
was like, and that's what they associate with it. So it's like, okay. So,
Gerald, here's a new word for us. Oh, hang on.
masklophobia, costume and clothing. Wow. Thanks,
That
Beth.
is a
Wow.
word, I'm hoping. I'm guessing it is.
Wow.
Masklophobia. Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I mean,
See, more people. Well, when it came out, when that movie came out, I
oh
think
yeah.
that really amplified everything. And then people were starting to get sightings of clowns in their backyard. Does anyone remember hearing or reading
I
about
don't
this?
remember that. No.
Either they were seeing clowns in their backyard holding a knife or walking down the street. I don't know. That definitely sounded modern folklore, but it's just like, wow, that is really strange that you are
Yeah.
now seeing these kinds of things here.
Right.
That's not good.
That's scary.
Very much so. I was going to say something, and then we started going on the tangent with clowns and the horse heads. Let's keep it back to the tarot.
I think the well, it's just like what we did before we went live. We took 3 deep breaths together,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, I can only speak of my experience, is it returned me to my body, and it united the two of us in the shared energy of what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to do that when I'm reading for people as well. Just like take a minute, and there's lots of different ways to have that connection.
Yeah.
And to have that person get a sense of who I am as a reader and who the person is as the querent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me is when I'm struggling, I'm only speaking from my experience, but when I'm struggling with a reading and it feels all doom and gloom, I have to and literally I will get up and I will walk away, and then I will come back because my body has been stagnant too much. I need to process that through,
Yeah.
and then I look back and I go, "Oh, I get it now. Okay. I get it."
You need to walk away and just take that moment to reassess,
Yep.
reconnect,
Yep.
and look at it again.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us do this too when it comes to doing daily readings. I think one thing that's good is for your daily reading, leave the cards out on the table. Don't put that daily card. Yes, you have it on your table, and then you get home, you assess the day, and you put it back in. Start building up a story. Start seeing.
Right.
That's why I did the Tarot Gratitude 2022 of Jen's, because I wanted to see the buildup of energy of what's been happening, or what is happening during that week, and what it's picking
Right.
up from me. And then you start seeing an interesting story. I mean, I already posted my overview of the last 7 cards that I did. And it was just like, wow, most of my cards were major arcana. And I was just like, okay, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised by the reading. Okay. So I just left it like it is. I thought I heard another cat fight, but it wasn't. So I looked at it, and everything was in line. What's interesting, though, is that when I do most of the readings for myself, I don't get anything, because I don't do any predictive readings. I don't get anything that gives me signs into the future. Like I don't get any indication of this is going to be happening. It just sort of states presently where I am, the forces that I need to work with. And keep in mind, we determine our future, we determine the outcome. So it sort of makes sense that the tarot doesn't really predict the future in that sense. Does that make sense?
It does to me, because I will try to tell people, you know, I don't really do predictive readings, but the tarot will give you information to help you make informed decisions as you move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you can agree with what you're being told, or you can disagree with what you're being told.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting, and I've been seeing your comments as well. Sorry, I haven't been able to put them up. Yeah, it's so important. Write down those cards, even if you put it back in the deck. Write them down. I do evening meditation readings, not every night. There's no reason I feel to do that every night, because you need some time to let that energy of the card or cards that you're pulling, simmer and do its energy work. So I put the cards away, but I do write, and I write down my thoughts about it. And it's just like, okay, this is my work. This is my work that needs to be done. And I think a lot of people forget this when they come to readings. They want to be told what to do. Most people, not all of them, so that they don't have to do the work. And I have to explain and remind to people when I do my lives, when it comes like to those third-party readings and those predictive readings, which I don't, it's like, you need to do the work.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to take that Two of Hearts and just carry it with you all day and not do anything with it? It's just like, how do you make things happen? You have to put things into action. You gotta make those movements to have something happen.
Right. And Beth had asked, it's difficult to avoid predictive readings, don't you think? It can be, yes. Especially when someone is asking something very specific, because I like to try to unwrap that and look at it in a different way. It's like, okay, what can I do? How can I make it okay for this option to happen? What is it? What can I do differently? You're muted. So
Sorry.
that's okay.
No, I agree. That's the premise. It's like, what can you do? It puts you in the power. It actually puts you in control of the situation.
Right.
And that's what people, I feel, forget. And I state that. It's like, let's turn the tables. What can you do to self-empower yourself towards changing the negative aspect? This is what the cards are guiding you. What can you do to change that? Are you going to put more negativity into something negative? If that's your thing, that floats your boat, then go for it. If you want to put more positivity into something, then make it happen. But not too much. You don't want to put too much of a certain kind of energy and less of another. It's all balance, all of this. That's why we have these suits set up the way they are, with the tools and the elemental energy. And
that's true.
And that's why I tell people, well, when I do readings, I look at that as well. It's like, wow, we got a lot of wands, not so much swords, quite a bit of water. Where's this balance? Not a lot of pentacles or coins. That's where we need to work that energy in with a little bit more.
I like that because sometimes the lack of a suit indicates where an opportunity is in the reading.
But isn't being seen. It's not being acknowledged. Like that person isn't utilizing that kind of energy.
Yes, well said. Yeah.
Let me go here a little bit more. Thanks for your patience, everyone. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
sort of dragging here. And Gerald, thank you as always for being there.
You're welcome.
Support. Likely outcome is better. If anyone wants a predictive reading, go to astrology. That's all I say. Because there, it's all based on time. You know, unless there is a tarot reading done the minute that you came out of the womb and those cards were pulled out to kind of set the destiny, then that's maybe one way, but I don't think that's the case. If you want anything predictive, in all honesty, I would say just go for astrology because it's based on specific information.
Right.
And I do put some astrology into it, but not in a way that I can maybe give some guidance in the direction of how someone's life is, especially when it comes to houses. But when it comes to predictive, anything like that, you need a chart. You gotta look at the placement of the planets and the signs, the degree of placements, where they are in the houses, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Now, that being said, I do
Yes,
readings
sir.
that are yes and no sort of things,
Okay.
but they're also to inform about the yes and to inform about the no, and how do I articulate this? It's the yes and the no, and what actions and what environment to help make that happen.
Okay.
So it's sort of like it's taking that specific thing and going, okay, here it is. Let's look at it from this viewpoint. Let's take a slightly different view. So
I think in a situation like that, that's probably the best way to deal with a situation. Broaden the spectrum of what's being asked, and just, you know, you could talk to the sitter, the person that you're doing the readings for, and you start narrowing it down, or they start narrowing it down. They start saying, okay, yeah, you're right, this doesn't play this much of an influence. And what starts happening is you're putting them into that position of control. They start seeing the answers themselves.
Yep.
But these are people who understand the self, you know, the energy that goes in and out and transformation. They're the ones that can really understand how to get to the crux of what's going on. For people who, and a majority of the tarot people who come in to do tarot, they just want that answer. So I explain it to them in such a way that sometimes it crosses their eyes. But I ask, you know, if there's something that isn't clear, let me know. And I try to explain it, no offense, in layman's terms.
Sure.
You know, I try my best to break it down that way.
Yeah. And I think I use tarot as divination to inform me about my experience in the world.
Excuse me. Yes, that's.
So,
Beth, pendulums. I have a rose quartz pendulum that has not seen the light of day in a while. It's beautiful when I hold it, and I should cleanse it because it's been a while since I haven't used it. It's a heart. Rose quartz deals with healing the heart, and so it feels good just to hold it, but I haven't used it in quite some time. I think the time that I used this particular pendulum, and we're talking like 10 years ago, I was exploring and practicing with it. And I honestly felt at that time, 10 years ago, that it wasn't working for me. Okay. And it's like the Ouija board. I tried the Ouija board, and I took it back to the store. It's like, this thing doesn't work. So I got my money back, and it did. Obviously, it goes more than that. But I was a teenager when I got this board, and when I mentioned it to my cousin afterwards that I got the board, but I returned it, she was like, "Don't work with that. You really got to know what you're working with." You know, and I said something along the lines, well, obviously I didn't know what I was working with because it didn't communicate with me. So,
right.
you know, I left it like that.
I do have a pendulum,
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
Thank you.
It's
And
green.
yeah, it's a green agate, I believe. And this was the first pendulum that I bought. And what was funny about this is to charge it energetically, I carried it around with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I lost it when I was cutting the grass.
Okay.
So and I was like, well, okay, I guess I need another pendulum, and to which I ended up buying another pendulum. I found it over a year later in my yard when I was cutting the grass. So it's like, okay, this pendulum has been on an adventure.
Oh, wow.
And I some of my decks actually have in the bags. They'll have a pendulum in them,
Okay.
mostly for clarification purposes for me.
Yes.
And I'll be honest with you, Amy, sometimes it's because I need something to fidget with while I'm reading for people.
Ah, okay.
And so I will do that. So,
I would say it's not fidgeting. I think it could be just a form of grounding for you. Like people use,
yes.
oh, what's the purple crystal? Oh,
Amethyst?
amethyst. They use amethyst for
Hmm.
readings. They have it there. Um,
Yeah.
I sometimes do a quartz crystal. I don't hold it, but I just have it nearby. The one thing that I use, um, and this was gifted to me by a neighbor, and I think I've already shown this a while ago. Yeah, I think I did. I showed this on when I was a guest on your channel. It's clove necklace. I did show
Yeah.
it,
Uh-huh. That's
and
beautiful.
so this is hand strewn from I think from natives of the mountains of Kurdistan, which my neighbor is from. And
Hmm.
so it's all cloves, and cloves is good for people who are empaths, just to keep
Hmm.
everything grounded, just to keep
Hmm.
the energy, you know, smooth and leveled. And
Yeah.
it smells really really good. It's
Oh, I would
old.
imagine.
It's old, but I have clove oil, and I put clove.
Lovely.
I just
Lovely.
put some clove on it.
Well, and you brought up the idea what popped into my mind is the idea
Tell
of
me.
crystals,
Okay.
and how crystals can help adjust energy
Correct.
for me. And a lot of people who do readings, when they do the camera over, there's all sorts of crystals around
Yeah.
them, and
Yeah.
it's really really lovely. So I actually have one crystal that I have here
Oh my.
it's a selenite piece that is wrapped in copper. And what's
Wow.
funny is
That's
I have a
strong.
necklace that this goes on, and I will actually and wear a big copper necklace, wear it around my neck. But I can also use this as a healing wand
Yes.
because I will also wrap the copper necklace around, and it just helps to generate. So
Oh wow. That's
it's
very strong.
yeah,
Just feeling it
yeah,
from here.
yeah.
The copper. The copper is the
Hmm.
conductor.
Yep.
Oh
So
wow.
I love it. Just and yeah, and the selenite is good, especially for cleansing and all that good stuff.
That's amazing.
So
How I want to ask, and for people who are in the chat, um, who do readings for other people, you have someone who comes in with very heavy energy,
hmm.
negative energy. They're like, you know
Uh-huh.
what? Life is just really hard. I just can't seem to win. Doom and gloom. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, how do you set the tone for your reading for something like that? And it can be a bit challenging for me because of being an empath. It's like, it just feels like I just got a wall of a wet cloth
Yeah.
right on me.
Actually, the first thing that I do is like, what do you mean doom and gloom? Because I want to understand them,
Yes.
because what I feel as doom and gloom may not be what they feel is doom and gloom.
Mm.
And making it okay for them to share that, because and I've said this before, I like to ask questions of people. No, Regina did not make that. I like to ask people questions just to understand, not as an accusatory thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and so I would say, what do you mean doom and gloom? And then I would listen and just hold space for them. Because then I like to feel comfortable, even though I may be struggling. I want to feel comfortable because I, for me, doing a tarot card reading for someone is a very intimate thing.
Oh God, yeah.
So someone
Oh
has
yeah.
someone has given
Yeah.
me the opportunity to share their energy, and I try to be very respectful for that. I've even said to some people, Amy, who have come like that, I've actually said, you know what? I don't think now is the right time for you to have a reading. Why don't we go? Let's go get a drink. Let's just get up and move around
Yeah.
because it's so heavy, and just be that person who meets them where they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I like
in
that.
yeah, and
I like
invariably,
that.
if I've already pulled some cards, invariably something will come up in the conversation when we're away from the cards that the person is will talk about, and I'm like, good. And I would say, yeah, I can see that. I mean, and I will even change. I'll even stop a reading just in the middle of it to to adjust where that person is. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what? You seem more interested in this, and I'm okay with that. Let's do this.
Yeah. It's wonderful for you to say it like that, because then you're talking with them, not at them.
Mm, yeah.
You're just letting them know, hey, you came here for a reading. We're not a psychologist or anything like that, but you're giving me the opportunity to try to guide you and help you in some way, and you appreciate that. I appreciate that. So what can we do? Not what can we do, but maybe turn off that subject in particular and talk about something else, like you were saying.
Right.
And then don't go too much on a tangent, because that's very easy. But then, let's start bringing the conversation back to why that person came there to begin
Yeah.
with. And maybe
Yeah.
their question would change anyhow in that time frame. It's like, you know what? Let's focus more on this, because I'm feeling more about this kind of energy now versus what I was
Yeah.
feeling, an hour ago,
Yeah.
30 minutes ago.
Yep. And I think one of the things that, with my own awareness, with my spirituality, the only thing that I can change is me.
Yeah.
And I can change the way I can, yeah, the only thing I can change about this is me. So I'm going to work on myself
Yeah.
the best I can at the moment. And I really try to avoid using the words good or bad. I try to use the word as I'm going to try to be different. And
Remain neutral.
yeah, I'm going to try to be different. I'm going to be, my word of the year is intention.
Okay.
I need to know my intention. So if I have clarity about my intention, okay, I feel better about that.
What was
So
your word of the year for 2021?
step.
Step.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Was it for you? You don't
was
have
it
to answer.
no, it was good. It worked up till I really focused on it for through July. And then
Okay.
I sort of stopped. I didn't
Okay.
sort of. I stopped.
Yeah.
Informed, but I made the choice to stop. So
Okay.
thank you, Ange.
And that's and that's and that's what you need to be. I hear Baba outside, the
Oh,
other cat. And that's what you need to be when creating space. Don't be one of these forceful tarot readers that this is it, this is how it is. Doom and gloom, light and happy. You're going to have 5 kids, 2 houses, whatever. That's entirely up to you.
mm-hmm.
You know, anyone can get whatever they want. It's how the effort,
Right.
your perspective, your drive towards attaining that, your drive to attaining change.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I'm gonna haven't run into that with her. Okay. Yeah, again, what Gerald was saying, the way to really be there for anyone that you read for is just that, being there for them. Also, you can't give too much of yourself, and that's a problem that I have. Okay, I want to be there for people and help them as much as I can, and then I do notice that I deplete myself.
Yeah.
And I catch it at the end, but I challenge myself when I do readings. I like to go, okay, let's keep going. I feel good. Let's just keep going with these readings. When doing my lives or working at the shop, and then I get told by the owners, like, you know what? You've been reading nonstop for about 2 hours. Do you want to take a break? I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess I should.
I forget that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I keep going. It's just that literally that spiritual adrenaline rush, I guess.
Yeah.
To just
Yeah.
being there for people.
Yeah. And I know for me, I know one of, I, sometimes I get so well plugged in, and I've done back-to-back readings for a long time. I actually have to get up and move around so that I can be physically aware. And I used to work in a library where I would work with children and teens to try to help them find materials that they needed, as well as adults. I help people find that. And what I found is that moving away from the desk to help them be able to articulate what they're looking for, it's easier when you're walking and you're physically moving and you're doing something.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
um,
I need that aspect as well, as like getting up from my seat, using the bathroom, especially when I've done the lives that are like over 3 hours. And it's like, you know what? I'm taking a time out, talk amongst yourselves. I come back, move, whatever,
right.
stretch,
Yeah.
drink more water,
Mm-hmm.
and then I feel better. I can go a little bit longer. But yeah,
Yeah.
again, not to give too much of ourselves. Very, very important. In any kind of spiritual practice, don't overdo your spiritual practice. Create that balance, create that time, to let the energy do what it needs to do.
Right. Yeah. If I feel like I'm doing more work than the person, the person who's sitting with me, then
Something's
it's
wrong.
not right. It's something's not going correctly.
Yes,
Yep.
I agree.
Give and take.
I agree. I think there has to be an element of 6 of Pence in a flowing reading, give and take between reader and querent. Yeah, the 6 of Pentacles, we always see that recovery, that moving forward from that challenging situation,
Right.
making not the right choices, but learning from them. And so the 6 of Pentacles is a wonderful card because it is showing there is that move in that direction. It is a card, but it's up to you making those choices. If the person who is doing the reading for you interprets that clearly, then you'll know which energy or what direction to take that energy in, to change that situation.
Yeah. Yes. And I think sometimes it's really, sometimes I struggle with how to articulate it so the person who's sitting with me understands what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay. So, yeah.
It is that
So,
balance. And again, as a reader and also when reading for people, that's where that energy comes in. Are you giving too much of your spiritual energy? Are you giving too much of your knowledge? You don't want to fry yourself out on that self. Emotionally, are you getting emotionally wrapped up, which really shouldn't as a tarot reader. I think that's very rare for a tarot reader to get emotionally involved in someone else's reading. And then the grounding aspect of the Pentacles, having that stable foundation. We have to protect ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a learning that's a process.
Yeah.
We have to learn that. I mean, and we all have to learn it in our own ways. It's like, as we were talking about the Ten of Swords, we learn about these cards in our own way. And journaling is a great way to expand our understanding about some of the difficult cards. And I think there's a beauty.
Yeah.
So
Most
it's quite
definitely.
good. Yeah.
I think I feel the challenge that I had on New Year's Day when I got into that accident on my way to read at a party was probably the biggest challenge that I could have ever experienced. It's like, okay, I got into an accident. I still have an event that I need to go to. Not need, I actually still wanted to go there. I wanted to still do these readings.
Right.
But also acknowledge the fact that that I was jarred. And so I mentioned fight or flight. That's what I ended up doing. I ended up shutting off the feelings of, of what happened and just going into that event and just doing the readings the best that I could. And I couldn't believe I did it. But that's an example of resourcing your energy. I think I put too much of my energy out for that because I was trying to protect what had just happened and keep that at bay. But I think I used more energy than I felt necessary at that event because I wanted to be there for everyone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see here. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but sometimes we don't get that connection to people. And I had one person I was reading for who was just, I could tell as soon as they came in that this was not going to be an easy person to read for because they had already set their mind on things. And this person was set very much in the realm of finances. When am I going to get my money? Is this money still coming to me? Those were examples of repeated questions. And the cards were showing a direction to focus away from that and to put his energy more on work on connecting with people. This is a person who is 82 years old. Once you're at that age, you can't change any person's mind. You really can't. They're set in their ways.
Yeah.
And I just kept emphasizing what I was getting from the reading. And he sits back and goes, when am I going to get my money back? And I didn't say you're not going to get your money back. I just said that these cards are telling you to focus your energy more on something else. Maybe your money will come. Maybe you're putting too much of a stranglehold on that energy. But he left, like, this reading was nothing. It's like, that's okay. He didn't say that to me, but I can feel it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put here for Joey. Okay. Thank you, Joey. Does that make sense, Gerald?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
I follow it. I have to process it in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I simply just... Huh. Why do you think that is, Ange? I'll throw the question back to you. Why do you think you're hard to read? Without being too personal. I'm just Taurus. I'm being direct. Why do you think that is? And I don't know why that is. Something to think about. You don't even have to put in the comments. If you want to reach me or Gerald personally, that's fine. But I would say if you feel like you're too hard to read for, and I think you would know this, not like, I think you would know this, there's some apprehension, there's a block, there's something that you're putting up there as that they're feeling. There's something that maybe you're not being fully open to for wanting to get a reading from, maybe something specific. Because there are people that can just put up a front, and they're like, this person's energy is just blocked. I can't get through. And so I'm not going to say it makes it harder for the reader. It does to a certain extent, but I'm not going to say I can't read you. I'm sorry, I'll do the reading because maybe I could get some insight. But if they're not opening up, the best I can do is just work with the cards and my intuition, to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Oops.
I think there are some people who they do struggle.
Gerald?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm going to put you on the full screen and mute because something is going on outside.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, hang on.
Oops.
Oh, hang on a second. Okay, I'll do it like that.
You can do that. Yeah. I think part of it is it could just simply be something that you're not aware of. I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to read too much into it, Ange. But thinking back, I think about trust. Is this a person who you feel trustworthy? But I actually am for a very long time, this may be oversharing, but I was a very difficult person to read for because I'm taking it all in, and I'm not giving any indication that what the person is saying is making sense to me. So I'm hearing, but I'm not allowing the energy of what the energy change that has the energy exchange isn't a two-way thing. And this is, this was 10 years ago when I first really started to do intensive spirituality studies. And it was like, oh, okay. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, Ange, but because sometimes people, because I've actually learned that I protected myself by not showing how I was feeling energetically, or I don't know why that was, but therapy brought awareness to that and helped me to work to be different. And I'm glad, because my interactions are so much better now, and they're much more genuine. So it's a fairer exchange.
I feel that's a fair way of approaching when working with the person that you're doing a reading for. I just got the tail end of what you were saying. But I think remaining neutral and, not showing concern, but just being there where at least they can't read. It's like, oh, this person's being highly sensitive about what's going on. Maybe I can tap more into this, because then you don't want them going into your energy, into your space, and then that becomes an issue. I don't know if that's what you were talking about.
It was just an awareness of how I was not allowing myself to share my own experience.
Yes.
So if that's what you were saying, yes. Hi, Sadhana.
Hello. Hi, Sadhana.
So,
let me see. Thank you for your thoughts. Okay. There you go, Gerald.
Could be, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, too, it could be the readers. There are readers that you'll probably find that one reader that will just go, that can understand you. There's thousands of us out there, and not everyone's going to be, I'm not going to be the reader for everyone. I'm going to be maybe a reader for a few people.
Right.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
it's just that finding who you feel comfortable with, who that you can connect to, like you mentioned. We need to have that interaction. If there's nothing that comes from that reading for you, then you walk away. It's like, okay, that's it. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, and that does bring up the point is there are, I think there's 3 people involved in a reading, or three energy sources involved in a
Yes.
reading.
Yeah.
The reader, the querent, and the cards or spirit speaking through them.
Yeah.
And if one of those is not as open as they could be, it may not be you. It could be something else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm going to put this here with Donna. Like
good.
Yeah, you mean like a entity? Yeah, I'll go along with Gerald. That is possible.
I don't have a whole lot of experience with. I don't have a lot of experience with that. So.
But only that person knows that. And I think, Ange, if you feel like there's a source, an external source that's there with you, you would know it. You would feel that there's something there.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this here. People that are hard to read, in my understanding, have many past lives. That's interesting.
Interesting.
Joey, you got to have a discussion on your channel, because I've seen some of the comments you've posted in people's lives and stuff. You know quite a bit. It'd be nice to hear you talk about this a little bit more. I haven't done any past life work. I do have the Cosmovisions Oracle Tarot deck by James Eads I got about a year ago to kind of delve into that, but I never fully got into that understanding. How about you, Gerald? Past lives?
Some, yes.
Okay.
I've done a little bit of work on it.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But yeah, there are so many other people who they're so informed and they have such a good connection with it. So
Yeah.
like,
I know.
wow,
I know
okay.
Sadhna. She's talked quite a bit.
Oh yeah. Did you
About
see
past
her
lives.
comment, Sadhana?
Oh.
Yes, you can.
Oh yeah. We can say yes to that.
Yes. Yeah.
Bless your heart, sweetheart. Thank you for making that very, very known for us here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love that.
Should we do some cards? Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
I'm gonna step away before we do
Okay.
cards. So I'm going to
go ahead.
Hide my camera.
There. Oh, look at that. Isn't that cute? Oh my God. That is just wonderful. Yes, Sadhna. Sag rising. I think the cap moon, Sadhna, is I definitely feel Capricorn in you. I think probably more so than the Leo. Not that it's negative, but I just feel that Saturn, discipline, focused energy coming from you. So that's very, very important. And when I see readers who have that kind of approach to their readings and to their work, it's it's everyone's individual, but that earthiness of Capricorn and that that Saturn influence, is a reminder. It's also a time of being humble when it comes to doing readings. Again, not getting so caught up with the person that you're reading for. Not you may feel an emotional connection, but you don't want to bring that out personally. You don't want to get involved in the energy of what that person has that you're reading for.
Mm.
Yeah, see? It's interesting. I definitely feel the Capricorn in her all the way. I hope you're still here, Sadhna. I hope you didn't disappear. I don't think you would. I think you'll be hanging out here.
Well, and isn't that that's a wonderful thing for us to be able to have access to so many different readers,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever been to these expos where there's a whole lot of readers in an environment, it's like, wow. I mean, I usually I may get drawn to one, so I'm like, okay. So
yeah, and it's a lot of energy too. I've gone to a metaphysical conference for like 3 days, and psychically I was not prepared. I was drained. I didn't even do readings. I was just there just to take some of the workshops, and I was just like, whoa, there's so much energy here. Very hyper kind of energy.
Yeah.
And some people were drinking too, so that kind of throws into the mix. But
That
it's very
reminds
draining.
that reminds me when I went to my first one, I was not prepared at all. And I walked in and I think I went down one aisle and up the other. And I said to my friends, I have to go outside. I mean, I was just so overwhelmed. It was like, so
It's
went out,
crazy, isn't it?
so crazy. And I went out grounded as best as I could, and then came in and I was prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't. It drained me for the entire time that I was there.
yeah.
And it's just like, next time I know, I'll be better aware. And I didn't get too much sleep, so that the physical side of that plays a fact. Okay, I'm going to put one more here. Never done in-person readings for people I don't know already. I think I would freeze up if I did that. I think the more you read, you can only read for people that you know, I feel, for a certain amount of time, because after that, they have to make those choices, and you can't be reading for them over and over again. It's like, okay, they're not making these changes, and the cards are showing it. So it's I prefer reading for people that I don't know more so now, because especially if they're friends, you already kind of know what's going on, and it's not that you make a judgment call, but you're sort of slightly, or you are biased towards what's going on.
It's sometimes difficult to forget what you know when you're doing a reading. So, and I think that's a skill, because I don't want to influence a reading, because sometimes I will tell people they're talking too much, and I'm like, hang on, let me put some cards out and give you some information, and then we can go into more depth. But I'm not going to, back up.
Yes.
So
let's see here. Oh, Sadhna, do you know about this, Gerald?
What?
You know about Newts? The
No.
Northwest. Okay. Get your plane ticket ready. Buy your ticket. This is the event that I went to that drained me out. But that was the first time I went to it. Sadhna, I hope to see you there at the end of the year. Newts is the Northwest Tarot Symposium. So everyone who is watching, this will take place, I think it's October 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. It's 3 or 4 days from Friday to Monday. And it is, they have speakers, and it's everything associated with the tarot. There'll be vendors there. They'll also bring in readers. So it's interesting that you posted this, Sadhna, because I just put in my application to go in as a reader. So that's what I was saying. I hope that hopefully I'll be seeing you there. And so everyone comes in. I think there's one on the East Coast. There was, I think, one in Minneapolis.
Wow.
This was a few years ago, but now with the way things have been, I don't know if they're starting up, but this is all in person. So if there's nothing going on in your neck of the woods, Gerald, for like in-person tarot symposiums, metaphysical gatherings, come to this one. It takes place in Oregon. So it's going to be outside of Portland, Oregon. So it's going to be that first weekend, I believe, in October, the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, something like that.
Okay.
And I think this will be wonderful because you'll meet quite a few of us, hopefully, from YouTube at this event, if you can make it.
Wow. I love it. So she wants to know what she should present.
I don't know where to begin. Sadhna.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, all of it.
Yeah.
How to be such a good teacher online, regardless of your content.
Sadhna, how about something that you have? I'll take a chance and ask this. How about something that you haven't taught yet on your channel? Maybe explore something that you haven't discussed on your channel and create it as a special presentation. It can culminate with, some of your experiences with yoga, the tarot, divination, so on and so forth. But maybe something that you haven't touched upon yet. That's the one thing I could think of. But like I said, it's like, whoa, what have you not covered yet? Beth has a question for you, Gerald.
If you go, bring the decks you want to trade.
Yes, there is. There's a swag table. So what you do is you just leave one deck or any divinatory tool, I think, as well, and you pick up one. It's completely discreet. So you can leave the deck there and pick it up. You're right, Beth. I forgot about that. Kristen Louise has. Okay. That's heavy. By using tarot to do ancestral work for adopted people. That's heavy, seriously, when you think about that, because there's different different aspects involved in that, but that works as well. Let's see here, Kristen. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was you could teach her candle work.
Okay. I didn't know, Sadhna, you do candle work. I've mainly been seeing all the tarot videos that you have. Yeah. Very specific too. Excellent.
Yeah.
All righty. Okay, so let's pull some cards. You stated in the email that you sent me. And let me open up the email so I could state this clearly. Bear with me here, everyone, as I bring up the question here. What can we do to honor our struggles and adjust our energy for a different outcome? That was your question. And then you said perhaps we could pull cards for that.
Yeah.
Does that feel suitable, or you want to change it to something different?
It does feel suitable to me.
Okay. All right. So our question is, what can we do to honor our struggles and adjust our energy for a different outcome? Okay. This is for everyone. Okay.
How many cards are you going to pull?
I'm just going to do 3. If you want to do more, go for it. And I'll be working with the Dreams of Gaia. Okay, more shuffle. You're my guest, Gerald. You will go first when you are ready.
I'm using the Light Seers Tarot, and the 3 cards. So I'm thinking about what can we do to honor our struggles. I got the Queen of Cups. And as I look at this card, the Queen she is putting her energy above her and connecting. And it looks like she's submerged in water, and this cup is floating. And to me, this is, some of us need to remember to actually stand up, because the water that we may be in isn't that deep. We need to actually sit up instead of laying down and struggling. But this is a queen who is honoring all of the feels. And I think we need to honor our struggles. We need to feel them, and then we also need to start to transform them.
Yeah.
And by the way, I pulled 3 cards, and all 3 of them are cups. So we have the Queen, very emotional.
Yeah.
And then adjusting our energy is the Ace of Cups. And I love how in
That's
this,
beautiful.
it is really beautiful, where we could see this energy coming in and circling and taking care of our heart and making it and supporting our heart, is so the heart can actually perhaps stop spinning so much and to start to radiate. Because if we here's this card, can you imagine? This is the Queen, and she has that cup there. This is the Queen. She has actually picked the cup up and put it to her chest, to her heart, and is feeling that and creating, what's the word I'm looking for? Giving it a hug, but one of those I'm here for you, rather than it's a supportive stance. The cup is being held to try to elevate it. This is really visually very interesting. And a different outcome is the 8 of Cups.
Wow.
And so in each of these cups, each of these cards, she has the cup right there.
Yeah.
She picks it up and she holds it, and she, let's say, puts all of the feels or the struggles into that cup, and then actually puts it on the water and lets it go, and walks away from it. And there's a lot of traditions to where they are that releasing and allowing the water to take it and to recycle it is significant, especially around, I would say, energy.
Oh,
So
definitely.
So
That is wonderful. Wait till you see the cards that I got.
oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, this happens sometimes, and it's wonderful to see that connection. Sorry, I just made Sadhna, you're now a mod, so you should be able to do this. Okay, so the cards that I got here, this is from the Dreams of Gaia again. One of the cards is with water. 2 of the cards are the major arcana influence of this deck. First card I got here, emotions. So we're seeing the struggle of of like literally doom and gloom versus light and liberation here. I'm sorry for the reflection here. There we go. So here at the bottom half, we see the struggle, we see that fight. You know, it's like how do I deal with these emotions? How do I deal with these changes? And it's right there. A lot of the times what we're looking for is right there in front of us. We literally, this is going to sound cliche, we literally need to see that light. Doom and gloom is what you make out of it. If you want to move ahead of that, you got to lessen the load. You have to literally lighten the energy that you're feeling so that you can start moving out of this heaviness that you're feeling. So in relation to that question, this is very clear for me, is that we do have to we have to leave this space to get to this. This is pretty straightforward. The other card that I have here is the Six of Cups, or the Six of Water. Oh, that thing came back again. I'm so sorry. There's something going on with my StreamYard that I thought I took care of. And so there's no brick behind the Six of Water.
It thinks it's a green screen.
Yeah, I'll look at it again. So my apologies, everyone. So the Six of Cups, if you could see here closely, just disregard that brick wall. She's handing a part of her heart. The heart's right here. I'll move closely.
Wow.
So the heart is just being removed. She's putting it out to you so that you can receive.
Wow.
Okay. So this is just showing that openness, that trust within yourself to know to take that chance. It's a beautiful card. I know, right? It's all the heart. That's what I like about the Dreams of Gaia. It's direct, but it has a very spiritual sweetness to it that I like.
Yeah.
And then we have the flow. This is all of lovingness and of giving of oneself. Releasing, taking sacrifices, but also taking chances and being open to what's there for you. So that's our Six of Cups.
Wow.
It speaks volumes.
Yes, it does.
And then, in turn, we get destiny. So we start seeing things. And in this deck, Gerald, excuse me 1 second.
That's fascinating.
In this deck, the last card to represent the major arcana is Death and Rebirth. And so it's actually this card, which is the Orphic egg, and it's wrapped around with the energy of the serpent. That's the last card, and we see the embryo in this card. So we're starting to see that building up, that direction, moving towards where we need to be, where we have to be. And, ultimately by assessing this inner part of ourselves, okay, releasing the struggles, okay, releasing this aspect here. Oops. Hang on 1 sec. There we go. Letting go of this. Okay. To be open to that. We reach this awakening of the heart, but also of the mind. Things start making sense. The energy is starting to move in a direction of where now I have direction. Now I know where I'm going. And this is the healing process. Things are starting to are starting to make sense. You're starting to understand what's going on. And I love the Orphic egg, because if I pulled it, you would see a larger version of it. But we're seeing this building up of energy. And then also we have the cosmos. We have the universal plane that's right there in the horizon. So everything begins to open up. The cups. It's like, wow. Emotions and the Six of Cups to reach destiny.
And I somebody needs to hear this.
Say,
Taking a good cleansing bath, a ritual bath, is it would be an important thing.
okay.
Put some Epsom salt or some sort of scent to help you honor and release. And then once you do that, take a shower
Mm,
and then get some well-deserved rest, because if you're going to let it go, it's difficult to let it go. So,
yeah. Heard in volumes. Thank you, Gerald. Thank you,
oh,
Joey.
was that for you?
I couldn't do it yesterday because I was just so exhausted, but I want to wait till, you don't want to take a bath like that when you're still trying to build your
Right.
strength, because Epsom salts just, it
Uh-huh.
detoxifies, and I don't want to pull out too much. But should we
See,
have
and
like a
it's
large communal bath, everyone? Epsom
yeah,
salts.
and see what's funny is I don't like baths. They're
You
not for
don't?
me. No, I don't.
Scorpio. Huh.
Nope. Nope.
Is it just that it's too comfortable? No.
No,
Okay.
I don't know. It's just weird. It's and I don't think it's anything practical. It's not something I want to move. I think it could be too much water for me.
Okay. Okay.
Scorpio, Cancer, Cancer.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. While the
But
shower is just it's showering you and it's going down the drain,
yep,
and you could stop and
yep,
get out whenever you
yep.
want.
Scrub and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Well, I know
Wow.
what I won't get you for your birthday this year. Taurus, Venus ruled Taurus. I'd probably want to give you bath stuff, and you're like, nah, I'm not going to use it.
Well,
Shower.
there you go. Yeah. But wow,
Shower.
that was incredible.
Wow. What were the cards again? Please tell
The
me.
Queen of Cups,
Queen of Cups,
Ace of Cups,
Ace of Cups, beginning.
and the Eight of Cups.
Okay.
I mean, and I just love the picture this or the story this tells.
That's a wonderful deck.
Yeah, it's a really pretty deck, and I was resistant to it early on,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody was talking about it so much.
I
And
I think because it holds too much of one kind of energy, even though you said that she makes mention, it also allows you to connect with the shadow. The cards
uh-huh.
that I've been seeing, it feels too light. Just for me, it just feels too
Mm-hmm.
light. And before Gerald and I started this discussion, and I had emailed him, I said, pull out some decks that you feel are light or humorous. And I put in the next sentence in the next lines, like, because I don't think I have anything that's light. I have the decks that I work with, they tend to be just very direct.
Uh-huh.
They're either light, well, they're light and dark, but their message comes across in a way that it doesn't lean more on the light side or more on
Mm-hmm.
the dark side. It's very neutral.
Yeah.
Um,
And I because I actually started using the Muse mostly. I used the
ah,
Muse for quite a while, and it was I can craft a story.
mhm,
I can sum it up in a sentence or one or two sentences, a reading, which is something that I like to do for people, is I want to be able to go, you know, here's your reading in 3 sentences or less.
mhm.
So, and that for me also has helped me understand what the cards mean, much more succinctly.
Mhm.
So, but yeah.
I'm reading everyone's comments here. Never doubt. I know, Joey. And also too, I feel with the decks that I have, most of my decks are non-system decks. So I put myself in a situation where I'm learning from that creator's perspective, particularly how they created that deck. without making reference to the Rider-Waite-Smith or Doff system. It's their own system. I may get the Light Seers Muse Tarot at some point, maybe not, but this is where I am right now with
It's
the
your good
practice.
comfort level. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's what
yeah.
you need. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to look at the bottom of the deck energy sometimes.
Okay.
So bottom of the deck energy is because we were looking at what can we do to honor our struggles and adjust our energy for a different outcome. So we had, the Queen, the Ace, and the Eight of Cups. And then the bottom of the deck energy is Judgment.
Ah.
So because when we're able to do that it releases it releases the spirit and those things which no longer serve us. And of course, because I'm an overachiever, I did this because this happens. And then we can
Sun
dance in
happens.
the light. Yeah, we can dance in the light of our experience. So
Okay.
very
I
fascinating.
actually one of the cards that I did pull for my reading was from the bottom of the deck.
Oh, cool.
And I'll pull another one since you're doing it, because let's see where that energy is leading. Ah. No, there's that. This is the King of Earth.
Oh.
So we get a lot of grounding, a lot of stability. But also, to get to this level with the King of Earth, there's a lot of work that needs to be done to get to that point. So this is showing, you can recognize what needs to be done, make those changes, but it's not going to come easy. You have to, for the King of Earth or any of the Earth cards, I feel you really have to be open to that suit's progression to get to these court cards. You have to be really open to the Five of Pentacles, a little shift or a great shift that happens there, but also to move on. So this King of Earth shows by remaining determined and being steadfast that you do want to make these changes, that you do want to get to this place of healing and of empowerment. You're going to have to work for it. You definitely have to get to that point.
And it could also be that the King of Pentacles would also create an environment to where you feel safe to do that work.
True.
To make sure that you're protected and you're there. Sadhana asked a question: is that a resistance then to transform?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. For your card, or do you know which card she's making reference to?
I sort of felt it as in the Judgment and the Sun, perhaps. And she asked another question.
Yeah, I see it here. Bye, Nancy. Thank you.
Hi, Nancy.
Do you read bottom of the deck?
It was for
as
Gerald's
shadow?
card.
Okay.
Do I read the bottom of the deck as shadow? I'm going to give a really wishy-washy answer. It depends. Because I don't always do it. I do it when I'm nudged. And this time it was like going, okay, what's other insight to it? So it really wasn't a challenge. It's just sort of like what's going to happen after I walk away.
Yeah.
And that's where we got the Judgment and then the Sun. But yes, sometimes I read the bottom of the deck as the what's hidden. What do I need to remember? And I also love it when I like it when the bottom of the deck energy, when I pull it, gives an idea. It's a challenge to help make it through the cards.
Okay. Through the journey.
Through the journey, yeah.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, don't get distracted by such and such, or keep focused on this. And oh, by the way, watch for this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I hope that answered your question, Sadhana. So,
I do the bottom card very similar in the sense that not so much for shadow work, but more for subconscious work. It's the underlying issues. It could be shadow, it could reveal shadow, but it can also reveal lightness that you're not seeing at the same time. So that's why with a bottom card that I pull, I don't pull it for either light or dark. It could be reference to something that is missing that needs to be brought up. I'm always doing the bottom with my readings, bottom, top, and middle.
Yeah, and when I do like a 9-card spread or a 6-card spread, I'm doing top and I'm doing bottom.
Okay.
If I do, that didn't make sense. If I do a 3-card spread, it's usually the top. If I do a 6-card, it's top and then bottom. If I do a 9-card, it's top, bottom, and then middle of each of the 3 stacks.
That makes sense. That actually makes sense. Bye, Sadhna.
Good night. Enjoy your bath.
I know. I'll be there maybe in a few hours. I'll see how I'm feeling. Hey, Lady K. Lady Kaperank. How are you? Totally fine, 3 of Cups. Gerald and I are just taking this in stride. Though I think we will start wrapping it up because I'm feeling my voice going a little bit on the rougher side. But does anyone have any other questions for Gerald? Or Gerald, is there something that you would like to touch upon for doom and gloom?
I think.
Tell me.
I think the conversation about it is extremely helpful because sometimes I don't know I'm in a doom and gloom phase until somebody stops my wheels spinning.
Yeah.
And okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, and that's the beauty in it. And I am so grateful that there's been people in the chat who have been participating. That's delightful.
Yes. I thank everyone who listens, who've taken part. And I'm sorry for my voice and congestion and not speaking properly. But yes, we appreciate this. This is all what this is about, exchanging information, learning from people. Maybe I will get that light seer stack. I kind of feel like some people are like, hey, be open to it. Probably I will, but actually the Dreams of Gaia feels like it's the equivalent to me for the light seers.
And I think it's an important thing is like we said, honor where we are.
Yeah.
And then we can make choices for a different outcome if we want.
Yeah. It's just be there in that moment. Don't settle too much in it. Start making those progress, those shifts to make those changes really start manifesting to where it is best needed. Right. Joey, eucalyptus vapors. Probably the steam bath is going to do it for me. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not really that congested, but I have some Epsom salts that's scented, and that'll work fine.
That just reminds me of something wonderful that my mother used to do. Is as a child, I was oftentimes sick, and we'd have cold and all that stuff. Fixed when my ears and tonsil, my ear balance was adjusted and my tonsils were taken out. But we used to, if we were not feeling well, we would get the humidifier, and one of the old ones, the glass ones with the black top. Yeah, okay. We had and what she would do is she would put Vicks Vapor Rub.
Yes.
On a cotton ball in front of the steam coming out, and it just makes me feel like, okay, Mama's taking care of me. So it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so sweet.
Mom did the same thing. That's why I was just like, yes.
Yep.
Yes. We had a plastic one. It was a beige one, and I can still remember the sound of it. It's like, ooh, something like that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you see the steam rise, and then you start smelling it, and next thing you know, you're passing out, you're falling asleep.
Yep.
And then you
Yeah.
wake up. I don't mean to be gross, but this is just too funny. You wake up and you have all this crust around your nose because of everything that's coming out.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Fun
gosh, I
times.
love that. Oh, I love that.
See, Ange, that must be the secret. The Vicks in the humidifier, because it would melt. It's an ointment, so it would just melt and it would just open up things.
Yep. Oh
So,
yeah.
Really quick, Gerald, so we could wrap up. What's going on your channel?
Monday, I have Ben from Beneficial Tarot and Sandra from The Whispering Well. We're doing a live VR to #Tarot Temptations.
Oh, that's new.
Yes, that's one that Ben created.
Okay.
And then on Tuesday, I have Jilly, Little Zen Crone, Zane, Tarot Token Witchery, and Jamie, Wandering Mountain Bardic Path. And we're doing a deck casual for the Pasta Tarot.
Oh my God.
And I suggest if people would like to see that on Tuesday at 2:30 Eastern, that they join. So
please.
It's sure to be fun. So yeah.
They have decks for everything out there.
They do. And what's brilliant is this is a Kickstarter. This was gifted to me.
Okay.
And the promo video to it is hilarious.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Hilarious.
So watch these upcoming lives that Gerald has, because that's all he does for the most part is lives. I think it's the best way to create some really engaging content.
It's fun, yeah.
And everything is off the cuff, so anything's bound to happen.
That's true.
Which is great.
Yes.
Do you want to correct the time? State Central, Monday, Tuesday?
It is okay. It's 2:00 Eastern on Monday and 2:30 Eastern on Tuesday. So it'd be 1 Central and 1:30 Central. So Central is an hour behind. So Monday is at 1 Central.
Oh, that's why you're talking from your
yes,
Eastern Standard. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And then Tuesday is at 1:30.
Okay.
So
okay.
And like and subscribe, people.
Please.
You have to hit the bell to be notified about when we all go live. Get those notifications, because
you're gonna miss out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun.
I have the link for Gerald's channel in my description. I can't get to it because I'll probably cause a mess with this YouTube live, but it's in the description. Find him under Tarotstache. As you could see, he is a wonderful, loving soul. One of my favorites here on YouTube.
Thank you. And I'm so glad we got connected. Oh my gosh, it's been great. It's like, wow, yay!
Yeah, it's taken some time, but now I feel everything's kind of moving into place.
I'd love to have you either on my channel or pop on yours to do readings for people. Because just tonight, the fact that those cards were in such sync.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, it can happen. It can happen. It's just that energy and whatnot. So yeah. I'm kind of surprised considering how I'm feeling. So I guess I'm able to block out that physical side and just let that spiritual side come through.
I love that.
All righty. Thank you, everyone. Joey, Beth, and Brianna. I got a long list of people here. Donna, Sadhna, Nancy, who has left. Kaz, I'm sorry. I think you only came in once or twice, but Kaz, thank you for popping in. 3 of Cups with Danielle. I'm going to see if I could go through all of these because I think, and Jonathan, who came in earlier. This list is very long. Wow. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. This is wonderful. Okay. I think I got everyone. Donna. I think that's Kristen. I'm so sorry, Kristen. Thank you so much. Regina, thank you. Okay, I think I went all through it. Regina, thank you so much for coming in as well. I will be back but probably doing more recorded stuff because I have the readings for the sign of Aquarius, tarot readings that are based on the elemental signs. That's what I have coming up. So if you are a fire sign, air, water, or earth sign, I will be doing readings for those signs for the month of Aquarius. So as soon as I feel a little bit better, I may start working on those tomorrow, and then you'll get your reading for the month. It's a very brief reading, about 10, 12 minutes for each sign, to get a general overview of how the month of Aquarius could be looking for you. All righty. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night. We will see you all again soon. Gerald, you know what to do. Hang tight, and we'll wrap it up soon. Okay. Good night, everyone. Thank you again.
Good night.